All right, I am talking about the nature of managing people based on an interview I did of Larry at Bar Louie in Mount Prospect, Illinois. I was out there visiting my mom, and we go to Bar Louie every Tuesday for their dollar burgers. And this time I decided it would be cool to see about interviewing a manager. They said I could come in the following day when they didn't have so much business and interview one of their managers. So I spoke to Larry, and it actually turned out to be very interesting because he is the general manager and part owner of the establishment, and it's a restaurant that's in the Holiday Inn. And Larry is someone who came from Nepal in 1993 and he was in the restaurant business in Evanston, and then just more recently came to Mount Prospect to open Bar Louie at the Holiday Inn, and has been managing for his whole career. He owned and managed a carpet manufacturer in Nepal, and he also managed and owned gas stations in Nepal. Based on that information, and I didn't know this at the time, otherwise I would have asked more questions regarding his business operations in Nepal, but it seems as though he might have been from Bhutan or from Tibet, and that he might have been a refugee that sought asylum in Nepal and then in 1993 was relocated to the United States. I'm not sure, but that seems to be possibly the case. He was very uneasy about giving me a lot of information. So, like, he wouldn't give me his last name, and he didn't want to tell me certain things about the franchise. I don't know. Kind of interesting. But so, anyway, what I learned about managing staff from Larry is that, most importantly, you have to know the people that are working for you as individuals. You need to know their demographics, you need to know their age, and you need to know, based on that information, how to communicate with those people individually. So he gave me an example, one of which was if you have condiments on a table and they're supposed to be arranged in a certain way, you might tell one employee that the mustard needs to be in this position, and you might tell the same thing to another employee, but they might react differently based on their background, where they come from, how old they are, what position they hold in your staff. All of these things are to be considered when you tell somebody to do something or how to do something. And learning more about who each individual is allows you as a manager to communicate effectively and get people to do what you want happily and maintain a peaceful environment within your business. So that is one very important component of what I learned. And another thing I learned was that um, besides knowing the psychology of your staff individually, it's also really important to know them as a friend, develop a friendship with your staff, but still maintain that professional line between staff and manager. So a professional friendship is very important in dealing with your staff, especially in the food service industry, where a lot of people are students, a lot of people are younger. They need someone to show interest and develop a personal relationship with them. So that can also help you to know your employees better. Then I asked a few questions regarding recruiting skilled employees. And what's good about a franchise is that people know what the franchise is all about prior to them applying for the job. So, that part's done for you. You get people that are probably interested in working at Bar Louie rather than just getting a job, period, and having to worry about what kind of culture, what kind of tone they're going to set when they come to work in your environment. And then I also learned a couple more things about being a manager. That I think with any position, you get what you give to it. And that is one of the central things that he said when we were speaking. That, the more you trust your employees, the more you respect your employees, the more that you show care and work hard yourself, the more those employees are going to give you back those qualities. So, it seems as though Larry had a lot to offer me regarding management style and how to be an effective manager to a team of staff. The most important things of which were that you have to get to know your staff individually so that it can influence how you communicate with your staff, and then the next thing is that you get what you give in the business environment. The more you give, the more you get, and to always keep that in mind.